Hello, Ray Phoenix here, welcome to Let's Play Mega Man 6, Part 2. So now this time around we're going to Flame Man, Saudi Arabia, this entry into the robot contest. Flame Man. He's some Arab that's obsessed with setting things on fire and using fire to burn stuff down. There's a lot of oil in his level too. He comes from Saudi Arabia, which is a country that's really rich in oil. I guess it makes sense they could have an abundance of oil in his level. And he can also have Met tools in his level too. What would a Mega Man game be without Met tools, right? And there's those things that shoot fire down on us, and they're going to shoot fire at the oil, and it's going to cause it to light on start on fire, which is everything that Mega Man powered up years later would steal from this game. If you fall into that fire, it's instant kill, I think, just like spikes. Oil on fire is like Mega Man's other weakness other than spikes. You don't see oil on fire that much in these Mega Man games. I don't even know much about oil. Is oil really that flammable in real life? This enemy can only be destroyed by using the charge shot, where you can just release a charge shot next to it and you'll fly over. We'll need him to get over this large pool of oil, because it's going to catch on fire, and then it'll be, deadly once it's on fire. Oil on fire. Some people say it's a waste of perfectly good oil, since oil is really expensive. That's why Saudi Arabia or some country like that is really rich because of all the oil that they have. And most of it right now is being used, or a lot of it right now is being used for this level. It's being wasted on this level. What a waste. No wonder why their robot got taken over by Mr. X. Maybe Mr. X is going to do something better if that's not going to involve wasting oil and wasting valuable resources. And again, Mr. X wants to simply rule the world, just like what Dr. Wily's been wanting to do in pretty much every game since the original Mega Man. But now apparently Dr. Wily was doing it in the name of Mr. X. Mr. X is the one that really wanted Wily to turn against the world. So is this really Dr. Wily's wrongdoing all along? Could Wily really just be a puppet on strings? And is Mr. X the real puppet master? That's what this game's made it seem like to be. But surely he can't be more than a match for Mega Man. Mega Man can stop him easy. And look at that, we got an E-Tank. This game actually is very generous with E-Tanks. This game is not generous with 1-ups unlike Mega Man 5, but it is very generous with E-Tanks. We're going to be getting a lot of E-Tanks, so don't never be afraid to use an E-Tank in any of these levels, especially when you're fighting against the robot master bosses, because you're just going to be getting a lot more. This game never runs out of E-Tanks. It always likes to throw them at us. And there's these more of these enemies, which we'll also see again in Mega Man Powered Up. So it's time to take on Flame Man. And his weakness is Wind Man's weapon. Because for some reason, Wind puts out flames, and his weapon is actually the weakness for Blizzard Man. We should have fought against this guy before fighting against Blizzard Man. Because this game's logic actually contradicts Mega Man 1's logic. In Mega Man 1, Iceman's weakness was I think the electricity weapon, and Fireman's weakness was Iceman's weapon. So, because in theory, either one could work against each other. Fire versus ice, either one could in theory be work, because when ice melts, it turns to water, which puts out fire. But of course, Mega Man logic just allows robot masters and weapons and robot masters to be weak against each other. So it could only be one or the other. It would make more sense that fire be weak against ice, since, fire directly melts ice. If for some reason Mega Man 1 had it where fire is actually weak against ice, this game flips that around. The ice-themed robot master, Blizzard Man, is actually weak against Flame Man's weapon. But Flame Man is, again, like the discount version of Fireman. He's like Saudi Arabia's ripoff of Fireman, almost. Come to think of it now, most of the robot masters this game, well, not most of them, but a good amount of them are actually ripoffs of robot masters from the first Mega Man game, like the cheap counterparts. I'm sure Saudi Arabia likes to rip off other people's robot masters. Look at that. We got the Rush power adapter. Remember I said Rush was very different in this game than he was in the previous games? Well, we're about to see how different Rush is. He turns into a power adapter. What could this be? Let's find out. So now we're going to Plant Man stage. I believe Plant Man is from Brazil or somewhere like that. Makes sense. This level looks like something that could be seen in Brazil or somewhere in South America. Probably Brazil, most likely. Brazil likes making their own rip-offs too. Mostly like making their own rip-offs of Pixar movies. So we could use the Power Mega Man now. As you can see here, shows a Mega Man 6 logo proudly. And look at that. Rush turns into a power suit that Mega Man could use. Power Mega Man has boxing gloves. We can't slide. He's not very maneuverable anymore. He can't slide. He can't use regular buster shots, but he can still charge up his boxing gloves. He could he could pack a powerful punch against those cracked blocks or cracked walls, and then get the goodies on the other side, which that just gave us a 1-up in Smart Step. We'll be seeing a lot of goodies in this game, a lot of like hidden pathways, things that can only be accessed with using the Power Mega Man, so that's good that we have that. That's why we should do these levels, the ones on the top of the screen, the Plant Man, Flame Man, Wind Man, and Blizzard Man. Should always do those first, because then it'll help you with stuff you can get in the other 4 Robot Masters. And see, Eddie's back in this game as well too. Eddie gave us something good. He gave us a E-Tank. This game is never short on E-Tanks. There's this gorilla mini-boss. I don't know what the point of this mini-boss is. You can only shoot him in his eyes, and he just slowly walks around and punches. He doesn't even do much against us. So I think he's like he was trying to be someone of those, kind of like those mini-bosses we saw in Ring Man stage in Mega Man 4, only not as good. He actually is kind of a slacker. I don't know, maybe he's not getting paid as much. This part could be a real pain, but there's an easy way to get around this. If you press and hold the jump button while you're jumping on the springs, Mega Man will always go the highest he could possibly go. If you let go of the jump button, he will go the lowest you could possibly go, or jump the lowest you could possibly go. If you want to jump high and keep consistently jumping high, just hold down the jump button. It's as easy as that. If you don't know that, this level's possible without knowing that, but I know that, so it's not impossible then. And now all of you watching this video know that too, so you all know it's not impossible. This through that same mini-boss house again, if no changes or no variance at all. There's those turrets again we saw in Mega Man 5, they're back in this game. This game does reuse some enemies from Mega Man 5, which is not a surprise, and some enemies from the previous Mega Man games. So yes, keep press and hold the jump button, and then it will, keep allowing us to jump high. And these platforms can you have to shoot them once, I think. It's really hard to get them to accurately. If you use Turbo Jump mixed with Turbo Fire, it's easy to shoot them down, but of course not everyone playing this game has access to a turbo controller, especially if you're playing this on an original NES system with just a regular standard NES controller. You can't use Turbo, obviously. That's the same. And then you have to, a lot of it's like patience too, waiting for the right time. There's a lot of timing in getting these platforms to fall the way you want them to fall open up so that way you can jump on them. So there's a lot of like careful time. It almost becomes like Space Ace almost, where you have to like get everything, or Dragon's Lair, where you have to get everything done at the correct time, or like very like time accurate, time precise, of extreme accuracy, extreme neurosurgeon like strategy. You almost have to be a neurosurgeon to play some of these games sometimes. I considered being a neurosurgeon once, but I don't think I'm good enough to be a neurosurgeon. I don't think my arms are good enough. I don't know, that's what people say, but I mean a lot of animators, at least the animation industry wants people to be like neurosurgeons, to be able to draw stuff with extreme precise accuracy. If your accuracy is that good, you should be a neurosurgeon then. I bet you'd be much better than most of the neurosurgeons where I live. So where I live, healthcare is free, but it sucks. Just like Windows 95, it's free, but it sucks. I'm not so much referring to how Windows 95 is now. I'm referring more to how it was. I mean, yeah, that is how it is now. I mean, it's nowadays Windows 95, isn't that? Well, you can't really do anything with Windows 95 other than run old software. It's kind of useless in that sense. I would never use Windows 95 for any real serious work. Then again, that Nostalgia Mall guy was using Windows 95 in 2020 to write a novel, so I guess some people could still use it. And apparently Congress still uses Windows 95 for a lot of their computers, apparently. I don't know how accurate that is or how true that is, but yeah, but yeah, some people still use Windows 95. There's some advantages to using old, outdated versions of Windows. There aren't any viruses for them anymore. They don't connect to the internet anymore, so you don't have to worry about getting viruses and stuff like that. And then if it runs your old software, you might be old software, but it still does what it's supposed to do, then that could still be good. And look at that, we got the Rush Jet Adapter, we got Plant B and Rush Jet Adapter. Plant B is supposed to be short for Plant Barriers. It's pretty much the shield-based weapon. Most Mega Man games have a shield-based weapon, and that's ours, the plant-based shield. And if you notice that those levels we cleared before have Mega Man's face on them, that means we've completely cleared them and gotten them we can. In these levels, it's actually a bit different in the remaining levels. There actually are multiple pathways, and if you go the pathway that deviates from the main path, the only way you can get for the deviation path that deviates from the main path is if you use the Rush, if it requires the Rush adapters, which is exactly, yeah, we have both of them. There's only 2 of them. The power adapter, yeah, now we just got the Rush Jet adapter. That's the reason why Rush Jet is absent in this game. So we get a whole, like, suit that we could use to be like, so it could be like the frickin' rocket to your Ruka, like, fly around the level and shoot at enemies and fly around. It actually works better than Rush Jet sometimes, especially because Rush Jet has been kind of lacking in Mega Man's 4 and 5. It was awesome in Mega Man 3, but it was kind of lacking in Mega Man 4 and 5. And there's that thing that first introduced in Mega Man 4, that shield weapon, I don't know what you call that. And look at that, it's a dispenser of Met Tools. They have an abundance of Met Tools, but you can easily destroy us by just punching, as you see I'm doing. Mega Man's just pretty much Falcon punching the what you call like a vending machine, the gumball machine kind of thing. gonna be something that's coming after. It's a drill thing. That's not so good against Mega Man's power Mega Man, so we have to go back to using normal Mega Man. It's called normal Mega Man. It's normal, jet, and power. The jet Mega Man's actually shown on the front cover of the game, where it shows Mega Man flying around the jet, and he's I think they really put a lot of emphasis on that, which makes this game it is something they should emphasize on, because it does make it unique from the other Mega Man games, because this is the only, well, this game, Mega Man 7, I think, are the only two Mega Man games where Rush can actually transform into a suit that Mega Man could wear, and that he could actually use to fly around levels and destroy stuff. And actually, it's a very accurate depiction of what the game actually is. Definitely far better than first Mega Man, where the cover looked nothing like the game. So now we're using the jet Mega Man. Look at that, see, it's like a jetpack now. We're like frickin' Boba Fett now. We're gonna fly up there, jump on there. So see that ladder I just jumped to? There's no way you could have got that without the Rush jet adapter. But we have the Rush jet adapter now, so now we can jump on there, and now we're on a different pathway now. An alternate pathway. All the remaining 4 levels in the game are gonna have these alternate pathways, and if we defeat them, we get a part of Beat the Bird. The letters are not just sprawled around. I had to collect them in various spots, so we had to do in Mega Man 5. This time around, we actually have to get them by defeating the Robot Master from an alternate door that we couldn't get to otherwise without the Rush adapters. Beat's not as useful in this game, because we have Rush adapters now, and the game's actually kind of easier in Mega Man 5, so Beat's actually kind of useless in this game. It's actually not, but Beat actually is mostly the same as he is in Mega Man 5, or at least I think he is. I don't know, I don't use Beat much in this game, but I think he's the same as he was in Mega Man 5, where he just pecks at enemies or pecks at bosses or things like that. And there's more than one path. This is the path we have to take if we want to get the Beat part. We have to go underneath here, because, well, there's no way you could possibly get under here and go for all that without using the Rush jet, the jet Mega Man, so we could fly through there and take the alternate path. There's always going to be alternate paths. And this game also, never interesting in this game also allows you to play the level, allows players to play the levels more than once. It's like in previous Mega Man games where once you beat the level once, you could play the level again. I mean, Mega Man 1 allowed the gamer to, Mega Man 1 allowed the gamer to do that, but that's because it was mostly a way to get a better score, a high score, which is kind of useless in the remaining Mega Man games because, well, there aren't any scores. There is no score in this game. There is no get a high score or something like that. In any of the Mega Man games after Mega Man 1, so it's kind of pointless. But in this game, it's not, because in this game there actually are other things you can find in the game. There are other like things like the Beat parts we're going after now. And as you see, the weapons in this game are not very energy efficient. They actually run out of energy very quickly. So a lot of the time in this game, especially if you're fighting these the Robot Masters to put up more of a bigger fight, you actually are going to have to probably reuse your Mega Buster against them after you run out of energy, which most likely will happen if you fight them off a lot. They're going to wear out most of the energy, and there are no energy tanks. I mean, like tanks that recover your weapons energy in this game, kind of like a Mega Man 5. There was that M tank that filled up everything. There is none of that in this game. So, but then again, most of the Robot Masters in this game and bosses in this game are actually quite easy to beat using the Mega Buster only. So this is Ray Phoenix signing out.